I know what he said.
But he just explained to you why. One second. He just explained to you why the universe can't be the necessary thing based upon it being contingent.
No,
it can't be a necessary thing because it has attributes.
And it's
because it depends on other things.
No, because it's made of parts.
Exactly. The universe depends on other.
So do you believe the universe can be the necessary thing then?
From Judaism.
Well, if we define a necessary thing as that, no, it can't.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So your don't know's gone now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
Great.
There we go. We're here.
All right. So if the universe is not the necessary thing, and an infinite multiverse cannot be the necessary thing, the question is now we have a necessary thing which is not the universe and not the infinite multiverse. Now we say that necessary thing we've already described that by virtue of it being necessary, there are certain characteristics or properties that you can say
That's where Felix
in the logical scaffolding that our arguments exists in, and under our definitions we've agreed upon, you're right. There has to be some necessary being
to be the one second. There's necessary being.
But yes.
One second. It has to be the necessary being for the explanation of the universe. Yes.
I
like locking things in and boxing them up so we know where we are.
But as I said quite early on, I'm prepared to quite openly admit that I don't know, and I'm
well, you do know
actually
now.
speaking around the probability.
Well, you just retracted. You don't know.
But I will say under the argument that you have laid out, and I have agreed with.
Brilliant.
I have to think about it. I hope this goes online so I can look at it again, think about it. I'll come back next week and we can talk about it again.
No problem.
But
we got progress.
Yes,
think about it.
Cheers. Have a great night. Yes.
No, the thing is, Felix was already there.
I've got my water.
Anyway,
next time try to come without
Sorry? So the argument from particularity.
sober conversation.
Particularization.
Particularization.
Yeah.
So what's that? Where do you get
what is that? So to prove, so basically there are some attributes of God we say we cannot prove logically. We admit that. So for example, we do believe that God is loving in the sense that he's al-wadud and so on. The Quran says that, or that he's forgiving, or that he's, there's attributes.
I think you can reverse from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you need to tell him. Sorry. I'm trying to teach how to do that.
No,
explain it to him without bringing religion into it.
Yeah. No. But
what he should, without bringing the Quran and the.
Yeah. I'm not going to bring.
Yeah.
That's what.
Without
that's what
revelation.
We as Muslims believe in a God with X amount of attributes, right? All Christians believe in something else. So what we're saying is we're not bringing that to the table right now. What we're saying is there are some attributes which can be reasoned from first principles.
Yes.
For example, necessity, pre-eternality, post-eternality, and we would say also creative capacity, like where he said that the power to change the situation. Obviously, if the universe is moving, is changing or something, you can make an argument clearly that there is a maintainer, there is a sustainer of the universe, the Lord, the Rabb, or we would call it whatever term you want to use. We could also make the argument quite clearly of particularization or of the will of God. And the argument is usually made in the literature, it's usually made like this, that the universe has in the universe and all that is in it, if understood in abstraction is one way, or if understood in abstraction, yes, is one way, not another. And if it's one way or another, then that indicates that something has had an effect on it. There was an external sorting agent of sorts, which made it one way and not another. And if there was an external sorting agent for why the universe is one way and not another in abstraction, that indicates that some choice has been made on it. And if some choice has been made on it, that's exactly what a will is. So we would say that that's the evidence of the will of God.
So if the universe is full of contingent parts, it could have been otherwise. There has to have been a particular choice from the necessary thing to make it this contingent way as opposed to another.
Beautiful, but the only thing I would put to that, to just clear it up, is that in abstraction. So in other words, because someone could argue, using a deterministic worldview, that we believe that nothing could have been otherwise because everything is determined of an antecedent causal chain of events. But we're saying in abstraction, in other words, this bottle, in abstraction, okay, when you think of this bottle in and of itself, there's nothing within this bottle which indicates necessity. So from that perspective, it's contingent in and of itself, in abstraction, without consideration of an antecedent causal chain. And if that is submitted to, and it has to be because there's it's a defeat of all the arguments, then there's an external sorting agent which made this bottle one shape, one way, rather than another. And if that's the case of this bottle and everything within the universe, then that indicates that there was an external sorting agent intelligent, which sorted the universe to be one way or another.
Well, can I say thank you? And you know, there has to be some necessary being, perhaps, but you'll take. I'm with you there. You've slid the skepticism beneath my legs, and now I'm with you on there. But it would take a hell of a lot more to get me to believe in some particular deity.
Don't worry about that right now.
At this point, I could be believing on some sort of claw-munching, tooth-covered beast.
But that would be the problem with that beast would be contingent.
Yes.
It's got claws.
Well, very good. But this is a thing, I think. This is what I said originally. I think, God does have attributes.
Yes. Well, not parts that you can break off and put on.
But you said mathematics. That's why I said, do you agree conceptual parts or physical parts? Because the teeth are physical, but you said you agreed that conceptual parts are also...
No, you're right. You're right to flesh this out. Just on this point quickly, because I think it's important. In mereology, which is the study of parts and wholes, the study of parts and wholes is called mereology, right? Mm-hmm. There are 9 definitions of what a part is. 9.
Let's feel it's going. You knew what's coming.
9 definitions of what a part is. One of them is what you've mentioned. So if I say it's part of his personality, what's your name again, bro?
Strawberry.
Strawbro is part of Strawbro's personality that he has a charismatic and witty way about him, yeah? It's part of his personality. Now, I'm saying something different. It's part of Mohammed Hijab's personality that he's tall, dark, and handsome.
He's a great orator and rhetorician, and he has a vast crowd of followers.
It's part of the personality of Hamza Maya, the online sensation, that he's cutthroat, no-nonsense person that gets straight to business and leaves his opponents dumbfounded. Anything can be said. That part here is different to the part when we're talking about something which can be removed and added. So when I'm making the argument, I'm not saying I'm using the word part, or basically I'm using the word...
Yes, I understand. So the tooth can be removed, but not his all-loving quality.
Excellent.
Right, but that I still don't see... So it's actually within the definition of the thing. Yes, that's what you're saying. Okay, let me come back tomorrow. You flung a great argument. It's been kicking around for about 2,000 years. So I will come back. It's quite a hard thing to come up with a good response on the spot, but thank you. It was very good debate.
Do you think we can infer intelligence as well for this necessary being?
Well, I think the very tools that we're using to discuss this...
if everything in the universe is contingent, then there has to be some sort of choice abstracted that made the universe this way particularly. I don't think there's any way of knowing between a thing that made a choice to make it like intelligent.
Can I throw something in the spanners? Can I throw a spanner in the works?
Or some necessary cause which grounds all of existence, but which could not have made another existence.
Can I present my Exhibit A?
Sure.
DNA. Yeah? You tell me of anything you know of in this universe that you're aware of, that contains information that isn't the result of an intelligent agency. Anything you can think of in your human experience.
Sorry, so the contains information.
That contains information that isn't the result of a intelligent agency. Anything.
A photon.
A photon?
A photon traveling from the sun, contains information about its being and where it came from.
No. We're not talking about data. We're talking about information, coding, as what makes it. Yeah. So, for example, you read a book. You see a book.
So a plant.
A plant.
Yeah, a plant has DNA.
Oh, okay. And where's the DNA? This is the whole point. The whole line is made of DNA. The DNA. How does the DNA become a plant? How does the cell become a plant? It's because of the information in the DNA, isn't it? So what I want to know is, my claim is this: the DNA inside, the information inside the DNA has to be, based on my human experience, the result of an intelligent agency, because I know of nothing that contains it coding in this way that isn't the result of intelligent agency.
Right, so but you admit it's the limits of your knowledge that's saying to you.
No, I'm saying to you, DNA contains information, and I'm asking you, where's that from? Where does the information come from?
So all we can conclude on that is that it came from something. Which we do not know.
But we've already concluded as well that everything within the universe came from what? Necessary being. Therefore, if we find intelligence, where's the intelligence come from?
I don't think there's a way of knowing between an intelligent being that made things this way as opposed to another, or
No.
something that made
Can I
things
recommend?
this way?
Can I recommend a book for you to read?
Sure.
It's called Signature in the Cell. The Argument for Intelligent Design. Yeah? If you get it's by Stephen Meyer. Yeah? Read that book.
He's probably read it already.
Have you read it? No, I haven't read it.
Do you know, I want to add to this
Yeah, go
point,
on.
to bolster this. The way I make the argument is as follows. I don't know what your stance is on fine-tuning. Like, there's
Yeah.
different ways of understanding it. But what we know as a fact is the universe exists. And what we also know is that it allows human life to exist. So the universe, whether you want to call it, whether you want to express that through the electromagnetic constant and its so-called fine-tuning or the gravitational, or if you want, as I would take the approach, to do so through the underpinnings of science itself, like the fact that science is regular, that it's uniform, and that it's stable. These are three facts of science which are presuppositional to any experimental method anyway. So one could phrase it in the following way, that the universe is regular, stable, and uniform enough to allow human life to exist. Would you agree with that? It's almost undisputable. It's
What's the probability of that? You love probability.
So the only problem I have with that stance is that had the universe not been stable enough to support human life, we wouldn't be here to wonder about
No,
it.
I know, but that's the anthropic principle. No, he's referring to the weak anthropic principle.
Yeah.
But that's been destroyed in the literature. I don't need to go there. Even John Leslie.
Please do, because I'm not.
No, but what's the probability?
John Leslie. No. Do you know what he's saying? Let me say.
Oh,
let me
yeah.
say.
Sorry, I'm
He's saying that like this is what Richard Dawkins once again said. He said that okay, look, even forget about the word probability. We can use it, but I'm saying do you know what I'm saying? I'm saying the probability is 0.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying 0.1. I'm saying do you know why? I'm saying that a universe that is regular, stable, and uniform, okay, that sustains human life is a fact that we have. That the universe is regular enough and stable enough and uniform enough to sustain human life or any life. Yeah, that's a fact. Now you have two options. One option is impossible, one option is necessary. Either that this has come from a necessary existence, which we've already argued for before, or this doesn't come from a necessary existence. It comes from nothing. I'm saying it's impossible for this reality to come from nothing. It's actually impossible.
Where we disagree on whether or not that was a choice.
Yeah, but we have the particularization argument for that.
Yeah. So that only shows that if everything here is contingent, then it must have come from a choice.
If
Every constituent of the universe is contingent, it must have been chosen intelligently to be this way.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we
That
want.
doesn't rule out the possibility that everything right now is necessarily as it is.
Okay, great. I'm happy you came with this because I considered this and thought about it. Necessity of things within the universe is not a disqualifier to the fact that it comes from a necessary existence. Let me tell you why. The category of necessary fact is different from the category of necessary existence. I'll give you an example.
I agree.
Yeah. So one actually presupposes the other. 2 + 2 = 4 is a necessary fact. Whether you employ a nominalist framework or a conceptual one, or you believe in a Neoplatonic one, you have to accept that 2 + 2 = 4. And that's necessary. There's no way of manipulating that reality. However, that necessary fact, that 2 + 2 = 4, is contingent on the existence of necessary things. And so the necessary existence, in the category of existence, you have the necessary existence. In the category of facts, you have many necessary facts. In other words, all necessary facts depend upon the necessary existence because existence presupposes the expression of facts.
Yeah.
So for what I'm saying is, even if you say the universe is necessarily this way, we wouldn't actually disagree with you. We would say if it's necessarily this way, it's not a choice that's dichotomous or trichotomous or otherwise aside from the choice which is that the universe it relies on the necessary existence. In fact, it's in line with that because you can have something which is necessary in the universe, but only so because it's depending upon the necessary thing.
Yes.
So in other words,
But
this
if
bottle.
you have a necessary being
Yeah.
and a contingent universe,
Yeah.
you necessarily necessarily have a choice to make it that way instead of another. If you have a necessary being and a necessary universe, then there's the possibility that that necessary being created it that way and could not have done otherwise.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
So if you have a necessary being
Yes.
and a universe which is necessarily this way,
Yes.
then there's the possibility that that necessary being had no opportunity to choose otherwise, that it necessarily created the universe as it is like this.
I accept this. Here's where we need to be careful, because, as I say, this bottle is contingent in the why I was very careful to say the word in abstraction. In and of itself, this bottle, there's nothing about it which is necessary. There was some time it has a lifespan. The fact that this bottle had an inception contradicts the fact that it's necessary in and of itself. However, that the fact
A necessary being or a necessary fact?
a necessary a necessary thing, whatever this bottle is, yeah.
So the fact that it had a start.
Yeah, that means in and of itself, this bottle is not necessary.
This bottle as a whole,
Yeah.
it's not eternal.
Yeah, exactly.
But the fact that that bottle came into existence at the moment that it did,
Yes.
why is that
Yes.
contingent?
No, you're right. That isn't. We're saying that there's two perspectives. From one perspective, this bottle is contingent. From another perspective, if it's connected to the antecedent causal chain from a deterministic perspective, or to the necessary existence, then it actually becomes necessary.
Yeah.
So it's necessary in and of it's contingent with respect to itself, but necessary with respect to its connection with the necessary existence.
Yeah.
I think I've got a good question.
Does that make sense?
Point.
Just to finish
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Therefore, even if we say that the laws of nature are necessary, even if we say that the laws of nature are necessary, they cannot be necessary in and of them, or as a result of themselves. They have to be necessary in respect to the necessary existence, or the antecedent causal chain, which we would say ends with the necessary existence. Does that make sense? So there's two aspects of it. In and of itself, in abstraction, this bottle is contingent, but when connected to the necessary existence, it's necessary. We believe in something called, as Muslims, qadar. I'm not going to bring in religious concepts, but we believe this bottle, from one perspective, is contingent. It's actually our belief. So this is sorted out. From one perspective, it's contingent, but from another perspective, it was always meant to be. Because God, He decided for that. When God decided, then there was no other way that this bottle was going to be except for that way. So there is a kind of, not determinism, we are compatibilists, determinism that we do believe, though. You see what I mean? But the point is that even if we say, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because classically the fine-tuning argument, like William Lane Craig and those guys, when they make it, they say that it's either chance.
This is my question.
Yeah.
Do you believe the universe is deliberate or accidental?
So you mean deliberately it's this way and it has to be this
No.
way?
The universe came into existence deliberately, or it came into existence accidentally?
I don't think we can know.
Right. So if it came into existence deliberately, accidentally, what are the chances it would be the way it is?
I'm not.
Because you'll make the probability.
I'm not sure we can know that either.
Well, no, but Casper.
But so if accidentally, then
How many
then-
ways? All right.
then
How
it
many
could have
ways?
been-
How many ways
So
could this?
one over the number of ways.
If we're talking about an accident, sorry, I know.
No, it's cool.
Because we're talking about an accidental universe. Let's take that as a perspective. You don't know either way. So let's look at the accidental idea.
But one over big. One over huge.
Well, there's more. I think there's more particles in the universe when it comes to the zeros that would be on that probability.
Yeah. But it's still a number that's greater than zero.
Yeah, but okay. If I ask you a very simple question, who wrote the works of William Shakespeare? Was it William Shakespeare, or a guy claiming to be William Shakespeare, or was it a billion monkeys on a billion typewriters writing over a billion years?
It would take longer than a billion years.
Oh, okay. Is it probable? Is it zero, or is it possible?
It's possible that it was. Well,
Right. It's possible. It's possible.
Well, no, because the number of monkeys that have been alive aren't sufficient for the amount of time we've had.
I think you're making his case.
The point I'm making is very, very simple. The odds of a billion monkeys, over a billion
Having
years,
written the works of Shakespeare.
the works of Shakespeare,
Yeah.
is the same probability of this universe fine-tuning itself by accident to create life, support life.
Okay.
That's a probability. And your mate, Strabo, what's his name? Strabo. He came here. It's more probable that the universe is a product of itself and created itself, and there is no creator and all of these things. And these are the probabilities you work for. And it gets worse when you look at the probability of carbon forming in stars accidentally. And it gets even worse about the probabilities of the single cell creating DNA. Creating the DNA randomly mutating for something beneficial. you've got that. You've got the probability in biology that's absurd. You've got the probability in chemistry, which is absurd, and the probability in physics.
So had the laws of the universe been even slightly different in some respects, life would not be sustainable.
That's one way of making the argument, and that's fine. And he's being generous with you because he's saying that there's some possibility. I'm saying that it's impossible.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying.
Okay, but why? Because if it's even slightly possible, the fact that it did happen is the only reason that we can sit here and wonder about why it did.
No, but you're going to the anthropology.
The only circumstances in which we can even ask the question, how probable was it that this was created by accident, are those in which that small probability came to action.
Or, all right, either that small probability happened random chance, or it's deliberately made the way it is perfectly from the beginning.
Okay, sure, but you're still sat there 50-50 either way.
No.
No, it's definitely not 50-50. Yeah?
How is that 50-50? The probability is
I toss a coin every morning.
There's more particles in the universe than there are zeros in that probability.
Hamza's making a very strong point here, and I think deep down,
many things up.
Deep down, I think you agree with him. But here's what I want to add.
So why is it zero?
I'm saying zero. I'm saying it's not. I'm saying it's worse than zero. I'm saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's the equivalent of a squared circle.
Okay, why?
The reason why is because if the universe can't do anything by itself, to itself, like that. In other words, what I'm saying is when we say classically, the way that the fine-tuning argument has been made, when I was growing up, the way I've heard it being made, is that there's three options: either it's necessity, or it's chance, or it's what do you call it? The third thing is that it's creation or causation or something. Yeah, that's something.
Causation. We're Strabo.
Or creation or something like that, or design. These are the three.
Yeah.
There's either design or necessity or.
What's the difference between design and necessity?
That's a good question. That's my question, actually. When I was at university one time, I had a conversation with a very famous Christian academic called Alistair McGrath. And I said to him, I had a conversation after one lesson, and I said to him, look, I don't necessarily agree. I was checking my work with him. I said, I don't necessarily agree that there's a difference between necessity and design. Because as we've just described, if the necessary existence designs something, it becomes necessary. So there's no dichotomy between necessity and design. So already, one would have to justify why we're choosing A over B in that situation. So already, you can have necessity and design already in the same space. When it comes to chance, I actually think chance is impossible. Because what are we saying here? The universe is regular and stable and uniform to the extent whereby we know that human life or any life exists within it. How can that happen? Either it comes from nothing, which is impossible because something cannot come from nothing, or it comes from itself, which entails a self-contradiction because something cannot self-create or generate. Something cannot self-generate, yeah, like that. Or, no, but we don't say it's self-generating, we're saying it's always been like that, necessarily, because if it generates, it indicates non-existence to existence.
Don't forget, one of the qualities of the necessary being is eternality.
Yeah, so it's not self-generating in that sense. I know what you're saying, but it's not self-generating in the sense that it didn't exist, then it existed. So it goes back to this trichotomy. So the universe, the universe, the laws of nature could not be such that the way that, or that the universality, the uniformity and regularity and stability of the universe can allow human being to exist, or human life to exist, or any life to exist. That can't be the case as a matter of impossibility. One would have to explain how something like that, the fact that the universe is regular, stable, and uniform, such that it allows human life or any life to exist, how that either comes from nothing or that it makes itself.
To my left.
There's no way of basically this whole idea of chance. My point is, what do you mean by chance? Chance itself is something which requires an explanation. Chance is something which we don't understand. Chance is the expression of what we don't understand. That's what chance is. What is chance? If you don't mind me asking, what is chance? I want to know what chance is. No one. I've read a lot of philosophical literature, like yourself. No one has told me what chance is. Chance doesn't exist. I'm saying chance does not exist. The word chance, I don't believe in chance. I disbelieve in chance. I'm skeptical of chance. Chance doesn't. The word chance, the concept of chance does not exist. I'm saying it now. I want some atheist to tell me, or anybody to tell me, how to prove that chance exists. I dare, double dare, triple dare, double, triple dare. Anybody?
I need to go pray.
Sorry, bro.
That was beautiful.
But you know, I want to know. I want to know. I want to hear this. I want to know this God of chance of the atheist. The atheist God. of chance. I want to know the evidence of that God's existence of yours. So if you say there's a chance, I want to know your God's existence, that your chance God, the atheist God of chance, I want to know this God's existence called chance. Have you got any evidence? Can I see the chance?
So we already agreed that if the universe exists in this way by chance, then it has to have been chosen to be this way intelligently.
I don't believe in chance.
Okay. So even if
Do you believe in chance?
necessary, no. So chance seems to be like stuff you don't know the outcome about.
Yeah.
There's still some mechanism underlying it. It seems like it.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is, yeah.
I mean, so quantum physics.
Beautiful.
Maybe.
Yeah. Chance is the expression of that which we don't know. Like, for example, if something happened and I don't know how to explain that, I say it happened randomly. But that's just an expression of my own ignorance. It does not say anything about, is there an entity out there called chance? Is there somebody called, can I put chance under a microscope? Can I reason that chance exists some logical way? Chance is the best friend of the atheist. But chance doesn't exist. I want to break it to the atheist. Break it, bro. Break it up.
If the world is like this by necessity,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that we can know that it was chosen to be like this by necessity.
Oh, it's back.
Yeah,
It's not,
yes.
That's no random event.
No, of course not. Only left for a brief intermission to get some more whiskey down me.
Yes. Well, that didn't happen by chance either.
No. So if the universe is necessarily like this,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that we can know that it was chosen intelligently to be like this, or if the necessary cause could do no other than make it this way.
No, we're as I say, logically you can try and make both arguments. But what I'm saying is that the argument for particularization, the fact that the universe is one way rather than another, such that instantiations of the universe, particulars within it, are...
How do you know that your very entertaining of the concept of another is not necessarily cause?
Say that again?
So how do you know that your very entertaining of other possibilities isn't a necessary event in the universe?
Okay, so contingency is not just understood by understanding that it could be another way. Anything that could have, anything that was out of existence then became existence. Anything that's generated is contingent. The universe has things which
existence
is
contingent in the sense you're saying between the necessary being and the contingent universe.
Yes, in that sense.
But the fact that it became contingently like it is, has been and was, that might be a necessary fact.
The fact that it has become what it is, because but we link that back to necessary being, because a determinist could say that, but they will only do so because of the antecedent causal chain.
Yeah. So I don't see how we can, from this, determine whether or not it was all intelligently chosen, or if the necessary being could not do otherwise than make it this way.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I mean, you could try and make this argument, but what I'm saying is that the necessary being, the point of is necessity only links to his choice, or this necessary being's choice. Let me use neutral language. Its choice.
It's doing.
Yeah, its choice. No problem. What I'm saying is, if that's the case, necessity is explicable because of the will, not despite it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It doesn't. So in other words, necessity does not negate the will. It emerges from it.
But not necessarily.
We would say it's necessary because it emerges from the necessary. Anything that emerges from a necessary being is necessary.
Yes, yeah. But from what we discussed, we can't know that the necessary being has choice.
Surely everything that emerges from a necessary being is dependent.
No, I'm saying we can know through particularization. We can know through the fact that the universe has within it contingent things, which can be conceived of in another way. For example,
conceived. But you said this conception of other possibilities is not just from our ideas of other possibilities. It's outside of conception.
What do you mean?
So you said earlier when I said
Let me tweak it, make it even better. Something can be another way, not just because of its conception, because it can be another way without an absurdity occurring.
Okay, but how would you know that?
Let me give you an example. So, for example, if I have a white board, I can paint it and make it red. So I can prove the fact that can be another way, on empirical grounds.
At that time.
What do you mean?
So right now there's a bunch of different causal processes that have determined in a certain sense, that this water bottle is here.
Yeah, okay, fine.
And then but when you move it from left to right,
Yeah.
it's a bunch of other different causal processes that determine that it's going to be there at that time.
Yeah, so you're bringing time into this.
Yeah.
I say time is irrelevant to this. And in fact, you could argue time doesn't exist. The idea of time doesn't exist, just like chance. The argument can be made. What is time? Time is distance over speed. And that's not relevant to the necessary existence. Whether time exists or not, it's not relevant to the necessary existence.
No, that's okay, but this water bottle can't be in two places at once.
Okay.
So it could be necessary that it is in this place.
Traits. Well, I'm saying therefore that the universe, okay, is contingent because of that, and that, number two, something is acting upon the universe. Something is acting upon it. Now, if something is acting upon the universe, it's acting upon it to be A rather than B, because
Okay, so this is where I'm not getting this.
yeah.
Right, so because of all of these things, it's the contingent beings that can exist without the universe going into some logical error. Why does that mean that it was acting on it in such a way to be A rather than B? Why is B even a real possibility? Why can't it have been the case that A was the only ever real possibility?
Okay, B is.
The act.
I get your question.
It could only ever have been to make A.
I understand your question. It can be A. Yeah. No. A over B is a real possibility in abstraction. Meaning, if I were to conceive of the thing which has been changed, or has been generated, or can be conceived differently, that thing in abstraction, without connection to any necessary being in and of itself, that thing, yeah, is contingent, and or has something acted upon it.
Yeah,
something.
But then the choice only exists in abstraction.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that since it has those traits, A over B, yeah, which we know, there's nothing necessary in abstraction of a bottle being this shape. I could squash it. I could squash this bottle. I could squash it. You know? I don't know why I just said that 3 times. I can squash this bottle.
I believe you.
All right, okay. So therefore, there's not nothing necessary about the shape. However, from another perspective, that it comes from like a, do you know what I mean? So I agree with you. I know what you're saying. You're right. That from one perspective, this bottle is determined. I'm saying that clearly. But that's from the perspective that is connected to the determiner. Simple as that.
Yeah, but even in the sense that it's contingent, I don't think that necessitates that the thing that grounds its existence, the thing upon which existence it relies, has this intentional and intelligent will.
Okay, no problem. You're having an issue
That goes
with...
back to my original question.
Yeah.
Is the universe deliberate or accidental?
Right, I need to pray.
No, because it can be accidental.
I need to pray Maghrib, yeah?
So
I'll be back maybe, yeah? I'm just going to pray and come back, okay? If you're still here, sorry. Wrap up?
We can wrap it up. But
Think about what we said, yeah?
But what we can
And then
do,
come to Islam.
But what we can no, what we can do if you're up for it,
Yeah.
I'll do something on my channel, yeah.
Perfect.
We'll basically bring some
Invite-
more as well.
Yeah.
Invite Felix, invite Strabo. Maybe when you've not had
He's a
your hand
very nice guy.
yeah, and we'll have these conversations, and we'll do it online if you want. We can do it online. It's not a problem. So you don't need to come to the park.
No, honestly, you're invited to come to the mosque in Ramadan. You break fast with me, and not with that, but something else. You know, or you can come on his channel. You're a good guy. I like you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So happy to Felix. Honestly, because I wasn't going to come to the park today. I decided I wasn't going to come, and
I'm
then
very glad you did.
I'm happy.
I'm glad I came. Because
Yeah.
we did want to
Felix,
instigate this conversation, and
very,
Yal's very happy.
Very good conversation.
You know that? You know, because they make Yal believes in God.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to him, and he says, "Oh, my friends, they have really good arguments against God."
Yeah.
And then Felix and Strabo come.
Wow.
And we're like, and then I see you say, "Oh, my friend." Say it again. Yeah, you should.
All right. I'm going to go and pray.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, bro. Yeah.
I do
Anytime.
have
You're invited to anything you want. Yeah.
Thanks for joining. So, are you local or what?
I study it.
Where are you studying?
College.
King's College. I was going to say what you're studying, but you're going to say philosophy, aren't you?
Yeah.
See, I've never studied anything. Do you get me?
Okay.
So I'm just leaning on the giants. But what I'm pretty good at is being a conduit between academia and the lay. You know, I get the point, and that's why I always ask this question. question. You say
You're a good communicator.
I try. I don't always have that full knowledge, but I do my best. But when you have the full me, this was easy stuff. I go after your principles, the idea that you believe you have empiricism and you don't, because you've done no experiments yourself. You're relying on testimony of others, and so then testimony.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole.
But that's what I go after. I go after the knees. Just as I take a Christian out with the idea of why do you believe the Bible's a reliable source of information, just gone. Don't quote in John, Matthew, this, that to me. Why is it reliable? And I can't support it. Same way when I speak to atheists, I go after their principles. Can a belief without proof be true? Do you believe that?
Yes, actually. Gödel thinks
Of course it can. How would you then prove whether a belief is true or not if it doesn't require proof?
Well, I mean, so Gödel actually shows that within mathematics there are some truths.
Shall I put my email in here as well, yeah?
Yeah. So there are some truths that cannot be proven.
Right. No, but how could you test a belief to see whether it's true or not if it doesn't require proof to be true?
So what we suggest
You
is
can't.
But you can.
Yeah?
Because of the concept of the absolute truth, all beliefs can't be true. So what a belief is, if you look at the word belief in a dictionary, a thesaurus, belief is synonymous with accept, convince, trust, and so what that means is it's a result of a proposition. So if you've accepted something to be true, it means you've heard a proposition about this thing. And why have you accepted it to be true? Well, you've heard the reasons for supporting it. So the way you can test a belief is to test the reasons for what's supporting it.
And then you have grounding.
Then you can refute. If you can refute the reasons, you collapse the belief.
Yeah.
Now, if you challenge the reasons and you collapse the belief and they still believe it, then that belief then becomes delusion. You get me?
Yeah.
So that's how you challenge any belief, is the fact no matter whether it's religious or whatever it may be,
But if it's belief without some propositions backing it up.
then it's just blind.
Okay, no, as in if there's some proposition that's true without some proof behind it, is this what we're talking about?
No, not about proof. Reasons.
Okay, reasons.
Why do you believe this thing to be true? It's because, like, I'll give you the one I always use, because I usually when I ask an atheist this question, I say, do you believe your father's your father? And they say, well, no, but I could do a DNA test, right? But you haven't done a DNA test, so you don't know right now. You believe he's your father, but you don't know he's your father. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And even if you did a DNA test, you're still going to rely on the guy who's interpreting that test, and you still got to hope that the sample. Do you get me? So someone can say they believe their father's their father. They may not have even proven it, but they believe it. But then you ask, why do you believe that? Well, I look like him, and family testimony. I believe my mum of this chick. So there are good reasons to believe it. Yeah. If I can then go, well, actually, I was with your mum on that night, and here's the proof. Here's the hotel receipt. Here's pictures of us together. Whatever. You've now took away the reason why he was holding. Now, if he says, I still think it's my dad, then it's delusion.
Yeah.
Now, this applies to anything. Now, I'm going to say it to you again, right? You guys, as an atheist, right? Agnostic. Yeah, okay, fair enough. You need to have so much faith to ignore the absurdities in the three sciences that you have to concede if this universe is random or accidental or not a deliberate thing. I'm telling you.
So I think that's one possibility.
No, the word is probability, and it's absurd. The probabilities. It's how a billion monkeys on a typewriter flips.
Yes, but lots of people have thought lots of things were absurd throughout history, and they were wrong. So
Okay.
I all I'm saying is I'm not certain that our thinking that is absurd is correct.
No, but according to the science today, the probabilities are absurd. In the future, the future. If you believe in the science of the gaps, so science in the future will answer these questions, you can have science of the gaps, I don't mind. Most of the times in these conversations, Piers, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really trying to convince you of anything. I'm more defending what I believe is logically, rational, intellectual. Do you understand?
No, I think it's coherent.
Yeah, exactly. Unrational, unreasonable. It's not unreasonable, is it? Because
That's what you get a lot of the times. Actually, it's two coherent views that you can't determine between just by arguing from them because they have different starting points.
No, I agree, but it goes down to the nitty gritty. What you are asking me to accept, you're asking me to. I mean, if you just look at the DNA in the cell, the book signature in the cell, I thought it was going to be a little pamphlet. Yeah, it's like that, just on the DNA. And then there's another book called. I'm reading it on my channel actually. Okay, so what is Wow, mashallah, what a conversation. Beautiful guy. So I started with Brother Yal. I thought he was an atheist at first, but he believed in a creator, but not religion, which ain't a problem. So we started the discussion, and then what he said was, I've got two atheist friends who he's always arguing with, and they've got really strong arguments against the existence of God. So enter into the fray Felix and Strabo. Very nice guys. A bit drunk. I think it's Strabo's birthday. So, okay, it is what it is. We're in Hyde Park Speaker's Corner anyway. So we had a beautiful conversation, and it all started off, as usual, with an atheist about the argument of contingency. Mashallah, I see Mohammed Hijab walking past, I dragged him in, and alhamdulillah, what a conversation we had. They actually retracted some of the claims initially they were making. Felix, I could see he knew we were making sense. So, inshallah, you're going to love this. You're going to love this particular conversation. This should be at the beginning rather than the end, but anyway, and we're going to continue with him, inshallah. But they're willing to meet up with us. We're going to invite them to come and join the Tap Boys. What a beautiful